Today I'm reviewing a product 2 years in the making. It claims to generate muscle 3 times faster, can be used for every exercise imaginable, and can store in your luggage. This is the X3 Bar Review. Hey guys, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today we are reviewing a product that I've had literally a couple years now. X3 Bar is based on resistance bands for the resistance. The idea is that resistance bands allow for a greater amount of resistance at the top of a rep. So think about this, when you're deadlifting a barbell and it's got 135 pounds on it, it is 135 pounds at the bottom of the rep and 135 pounds at the top of the rep. The reality is you can actually lift close to 6 to 7 times more at the top of the rep than you can at the bottom. So you may be able to hold in a static position 600, 700 pounds, something along that nature, but only be able to pull from the floor if it was a barbell 400 pounds or so. So the question is, are you really training optimally if you're only lifting 400 pounds when you can lift so much more at the top of the rep? And that's why resistance bands can be very effective. We see them used by some of the top strength coaches in the world, top strength athletes in the world, not necessarily in this capacity, but in accommodating resistance capacity. This is really all you would need to train versus a standard home gym like the one we're in. You can get just as strong, if not stronger, using this. In fact, the reason they call it X3 is because they say that you can generate muscle and strength 3 times faster than you can with standard fixed weights. So, all that said, I'm gonna first talk about the componentry. So just talk about the hardware that we see here, give a review on it. Then I'm gonna give my opinion on my experience using it, also give an opinion based upon the communities, and we've actually had our social media manager, Brittany, use it for 45 plus days consistently and give her a take on it as well. Then I'll give you kind of my final recommendation. When you order X3, this is what comes. This is actually the old foot plate. The new one is metal. The reality is it doesn't change your training. This one also has nipples on top, so it's a little bit more grippier for your feet. But this is where the bands slide into. So as you can see, it's simply 2 risers and then a slit in the middle. And this allows the bands to pass through, and then the bands are then connected to the bar. Now the bands are high quality bands, they're natural latex bands. There are a lot of crappy bands out there. These are very high quality band, but to say these are better than a Rogue or an Elite FTS band, I just have a hard time believing that. I'm pretty sure they come from similar factories. I don't know about the same factories, but they're similar bands made of similar materials. And they come with 4 different bands for just the standard pack. So you have like this extra heavy band, this medium band, this light medium band, and then this light band. They're all the same length, but they're not like a unique length from other bands that are out there. So technically you could buy bands from Rogue Fitness or Elite FTS or elsewhere if these were to snap. They also offer an extra heavy band, which is an orange band, and that's the one when they claim you can have up to 600 pounds plus resistance on this at the top of a rep. That's using that band. The bar is really the piece that's most unique. I would love it, and I think many people would if they sold just this bar, but I understand them including it with everything else. This is a fantastically built bar. It really is. So the diameter of the bar itself is just over 30 millimeters. It's right around 31 millimeters. They say 1.25 inches. So when you're thinking of comparable to barbells, it's thicker than an Olympic weightlifting bar. It's thicker than like a multi-purpose CrossFit style bar. It's actually thicker than a power bar too. So it's got some girth to it, which I don't mind on deadlifts. Like it can feel a little bit thick. That said, because it's so short, there's just no bending this thing. It is extremely stiff. All the bending will come from the resistance bands. And I do want to comment on the knurling. Like this is designed to be comfortable for everybody. Brittany, our social media manager, has a comment on the knurling and how she feels about it. But for me, I think this was a great choice. It is like a medium aggressive knurling. I think it feels a little bit more aggressive than something like a Rogue Ohio bar or something like that. But it's basically a rotating bar in the center that attaches to 2 hooked ends. There's bushing ends in between, and it allows it to spin. And the reason you want it to spin is because you're often using it in movements where there is some movement of the hooks. The hooks, as you can see, are fixed together, and then the center wraps in. And the way that it works is you take a band like this, run it underneath in the channel, attach it to a barbell or attach it to the barbell hooks, and you're ready to go. If you want to increase resistance or you want to shorten the range of motion, throw it underneath so both sides of the band are underneath, and then you can strap it like here, and you now have increased resistance and a shorter range of motion. The product itself is extremely simple. That's basically what's into it. When you look at the cost, it's like, man, that's quite a bit of money for over $500, 550 bucks as of this video for this. Is it worth it? Well, it's not just the fact that these are the components, it's also the program that comes with it. This is the idea behind X3, is you have an all-in-one home gym that can replace a squat rack, your barbells, your plates, your dumbbells. Literally, this is all you would need. Do I think that you can actually get strong and conditioned, lean, all the sorts of things that people are training for with just X3? Yes, I do. If you go on the X3 Facebook group, like, you will be amazed at the transformations. Like, it's incredible. They recommend for their program though, it's very unique. One set of like 3 to 4 exercises, and you switch on and off each day. They recommend anywhere from 15 all the way up to 40 reps. And in fact, the way they talk about it is you need to complete 15 reps with a lower band. Once you get up to 40 reps with that band under control and good form, you can then jump up to the next band. And the reason that I think it's so good, the reason I would recommend X3 is because of its simplicity. Yes, it's pricey. 550 bucks for this is pretty pricey, but you never have to buy another program. And if you can train the monkey mind to stay focused, then I think you'd be fine. The problem for me is, like, it would be very hard for me to just train with this all the time. Like, I like having variety. Now, that's my opinion. We're gonna have Brittany come out and kind of give her take after using it for 45 plus days versus any of our other home gym equipment. Brittany, come on out.
Hey guys, Brittany Combs here with Garage Gym Reviews, social media manager, and I got to try the X3 bar for 45 days. Day one, get the system, look through it all, and I actually have a video of me trying to stretch out all the bands to see, you know, strength-wise. My arms have never been a strength of mine. My arms have always been the weakest part of me, so it was kind of comical trying to pull some of these bands apart. They're actually really, really strong. They were a lot stronger than I thought that they would be. Going through the program, the one thing that I really appreciated that kept me organized was the app. There's an X3 bar app that I was able to select my push day or my pull day. It would tell me exactly which exercises I would be working on. I could enter which bands that I was using, and it broke down the exercises for me. And so that was really helpful, especially as a beginner, not knowing what I was doing with the system. So I will say that there is an absolute huge learning curve to this, especially if your mindset is lifting weights, doing 3 sets of 15 or whatever it may be for you, because the whole thing and the whole way that you're going to see the best growth is to train to fatigue. So that's a whole other mindset. It's not just, oh man, my muscles kind of hurt. It's, oh, I literally can't push this bar anymore. So honestly, probably about the first 2 weeks, it really took me some time to figure out how to push through and really truly get to fatigue. The other challenge that I still struggle with, even doing it 45 days later, is getting the bands around my shoulders, because like when you put these on, it just kind of like tends to separate. There's not as much strength in, like, if they're separated. Like, you're gonna get the biggest strength when they're together. But I have seen people in Facebook groups talk about getting like little clips and things to help. I think that that's something that you just have to kind of work through and learn. So as far as the progress that I've made from when I've started to the 45 days, the app has made it really easy to see what my progress is. I have had an 86% increase in force production total. So it also breaks down, like, workout 1, I've had a 69% increase in force, but workout 2, I've had a 154% increase in force, which is just absolutely amazing. I've felt great, and I've definitely been able to see a lot of definition on my arms. As I got up into those heavier and thicker bands, it did tend to hurt my hands a little bit. I started to develop some calluses a little bit. You're not supposed to use any gloves or anything on your wrist. That wouldn't really help strengthen your grip. You're supposed to let it all grow up with you. For me personally, when I started getting into the black band with deadlifts, I had to use gloves, because pulling that up and just ripping my hands up, my hands were giving up within a few reps, whereas my legs were ready to go. So that was something for me that, you know, I kind of had to tweak. And also with the squats, I could squat heavy, but it was hurting my shoulders. It was kind of like rubbing up on my skin. So I had to come up with some ways to kind of alleviate that so that I could really get that benefit of that full range of motion. So after using this for 45 days, I will say that I really enjoyed it. I've taken this thing everywhere. So for that, I love it. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. My kids were right next to me playing and I could still do it. So for me, busy mom, full-time job, this is definitely something that I could see myself using in the future, and I would recommend to other people who are super, super busy. The other side of it is that I miss weights. Like, I love feeling a barbell on my back and doing a heavy squat. I wouldn't say I would necessarily replace my whole gym with this because I need to feel some weight on my shoulders. I do think for portability purposes, for time saving purposes, this has been awesome. Like, I could go to my garage gym and do an hour of work, or I could do 10 to 20 minutes of work on the X3 bar and call it good. And to me, that is a huge benefit. So that's where I would recommend it. But if you're just somebody who likes to throw around some weight, you're probably going to miss some of that satisfaction with this system.
I've said a lot of positive things. Brittany said a lot of positive things, but I did want to give just some opinions that they don't need to have this, but from my experience, feels like this could improve the system. Number one is this bar. This is just an annoyance, but the caps on these fall out consistently. It's like, I don't know why they fall out. It's really annoying. Like, I've got one on this, I don't have one on this. This one still pops out every once in a while. It's really annoying. I just wish there was a way to just keep those on there just for the fit and finish of the bar. The second one is this plate. When you're going to do your first rep, you kind of have to adjust the bands so they're like perfectly tensioned on each side. These would have to be very nice rollers, but if there's a way to put like a roller on each corner of this plate that would then allow the bands to like roll up versus just tension and pinch against this point, I feel like that would be an added benefit. I don't think that's something you necessarily have to add with the base model, but if you were selling maybe a premium plate or something, I think that would be a pretty cool feature to add. The other thing I was thinking about is there are people that are much bigger than me that I think could benefit from a longer bar. They have since come out with a longer bar. I don't think it's necessary, but if you've got somebody with really wide shoulders, like this can maybe feel a little bit tight for shoulder press, or somebody that maybe has problems with their shoulders and they just can't get their lat, like they got tight lats, can't get them under. A long bar would be nice. The other thing is like the sizes of the bands. If somebody is not very strong on certain movements, this white band still may be too heavy. So having lighter bands or having bands that maybe are in between for people that are trying to progress and can't quite get up to the next one, I think these are all just things that would be nice and beneficial. I don't feel like they're required for the system. I honestly feel like the system is pretty complete. I've been asked probably to review this product more than just about any other. I hope it was comprehensive. I hope it was honest and truthful. Like, I really do like this system. It's pricey for what it is, but when you take it all into consideration, the fact that you have the program you can follow, you don't need anything extra, I think the value's there. This is Coop from Garage Reviews. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you have any experience with it? We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next time. Peace.